Hey, it's Raven Tactical here. Had a little bit of a technical issue. It's April 1st, 2020. Haven't been making as much videos lately, just been really busy. With everything going on with the virus and everything, it's been more of a quick, I wouldn't say we're struggling to get things finished. It's more of last minute things have been put in motion, it essentially, if I would say if you were bugging out, it'd be the bugging out stage of getting that kind of done. But we're not bugging out. We're staying where we are because where we are is our bug out. So I mean, it's been kind of a quick few weeks of getting things prepared. Expensive. Yeah, we probably spent a little bit more. Getting a little bit more food, trying to get things organized. Some stuff, it got pushed off to the side, and then it became centerfold. So, you have to make sure that you're focusing. You don't want to go crazy, but at the same time, you don't want to, we're prepared enough that it wasn't terrible. Like, we're not out there desperately needing things. We're just continuously adding. So, I mean, some things that I think we're short on, and I think we had initial inventory in our head of certain things that we probably wish we would have had a little bit more of on food stuff. We did contact all the people in our group who would be with us to make sure and kind of go down on a rundown plan. So we have that going for us. Some things that you kind of have to keep in mind is you can't really panic, but at the same time, you have to really look at it from a perspective of this is probably the most craziest event that's going to happen in a long time. This would be something that's going to affect the entire country. Now, you can sit there and ignore it, or you can sit there and pan it off, but the real thing is it's going to hit between the next few weeks. It's going to hit hard, and it's going to hit hard for a fair couple weeks. And it's enough that it's going to disrupt this country, and when it's all said and done, things aren't going to go back the same way it was. You have people grabbing for power at this moment, right? So we were talking in a different video and talking about things like what's your long-term and short-term goals essentially with your group in prepping. So for us, a short-term goal for most people would be to survive, right? Be have enough food to last 6, 18 months, 2 years, right? Have enough food for that, because by then you'd have hopefully you'd have a sustaining garden that can actually go, and that's tough. And you would have everything kind of working out. Maybe you start doing some stuff as a community. But the long-term goal is, what do you want to do, right? The long-term goal becomes more of how do you run government without becoming the same government, right? So you'd kind of start needing to think about how to run things, right? How would you set up some sort of law, a community thing, a judge, essentially, a sheriff kind of thing. Because you don't want to have a total anarchy, but at the same time, you're going to have anarchy. There's going to be a period of anarchy where there's nothing, right? Now, if you don't think that you really need to have this in mind and start talking about it, I'll leave it to you on this. If you don't really understand the fact that if you're not talking about what to do between after the 12 months or the 18 months, and you want to start building government, or building a government, or building a society, I guess, if you want to call it that. If you don't, someone else will. I'll reference the movie The Postman, right? It's probably one of the more, it's a post-apocalyptic movie, and there's all these little cities that basically banded together, and they're all over, they're taking care of each other, and they're doing okay. They're not thriving, per se, but they're doing okay. And there's one central group, basically the group with the guns, the military equipment, the power. They seized power. They seized a lot of the military equipment, and they're taking. I mean, it's essentially like if you watch Walking Dead. Negan was the central power who would take and provided security, but would take, and you're under his government, and there's no way to get around it, right? You're under basically an authoritarian government where you don't have any way of controlling it. Now, had you been smart enough to prepare for it and talk about it, or even create something, say, hey, you know what, we would like to do X, and these are the kind of things that we view. Me at a libertarian standpoint, I would say the very bare minimum of things that you can come up with constitutionally are great. Like providing defense, providing these things, important. So, having that would be crucial. And I'm going to say, I don't think this is going to lead to a total collapse. It could. I think it's going to lead more towards an economic collapse in the sense that you're probably going to go into a Great Depression kind of series, which is ironic for the 20s, right? But I say you're going to see things where America as a powerhouse in the world is probably going to be reduced. And that's probably part of what this virus was designed to do, was to attack without firing a shot. I mean, if you think about it, you didn't have to fire a shot, you didn't have to land troops, you didn't have to do any of this. You killed a bunch of people, you instilled fear, they panicked, they gave up basically powers to the government again. And you're walking around going, oh. So, things that I would consider though, making sure that you have your food, making sure, go through it. Literally, physically, go through your food, make sure that it's rotated in, make sure that it's clean and that it's stored properly, and bugs can't get to it, and that you have it sealed. But also start looking at the calorie intake levels. If you're relying on strictly Mountain House, you're probably going to want to divide that number in half for how many days you have. I know what they tell you is one thing, but the reality and the truth is 1,500 calories per day is not enough to thrive on. It's enough to sustain. And if you start working hard and burning calories, you're going to basically be calorie depleted, and you're going to get sick. You're going to be in kind of like a really bad shape within 6 months. So don't rely solely on them. Learn to can. You have some time. Like, honestly, right now you have what I'm calling this lull is a couple weeks of time to learn some skills. And your kids and all the people that are sitting at home doing nothing but binging on Netflix, this is a really good time to learn some seriously important hard skills that are going to help you out. But if you don't do it, you're going to just be the sheep. And you can't really be sheep anymore. The sheep is something that we have to really either help or we just have to avoid it completely. Because I'm sick of it. I'm so tired of dealing with sheep people who just don't get it. And you know what? You try to open their eyes, you try to talk to them, and they look at you like you're insane. So don't be rude to the sheep. Just try to understand that a big portion of this country and a big portion of people don't understand it. They never will. They expect someone to fix it for them. And you're going to basically be in that lull. Like, you're going to be on your own. And that's what really we've been saying before. You're on your own. There's nobody else that's going to come and save you. You know, pray for this country. Pray for your group. Pray for your family. Do the best you can, you know, without going so overboard that you're financially ruined in debt forever. I mean, it's tough. Like, there's things that I wish I could just dump out and buy right now, but I can't. You know, I have to be a little smart with it. I'm thankful for the fact that I'm still working. I wish we would just kind of shut down for a little bit to kind of not continue this, because they've been shutting down everything else around us. But you know, I don't mind I don't mind working. I like having a job, so it's good in that sense. It's kind of a scattered topic today, so just giving you a heads up on everything. It's going to get worse, folks. For the Midwest, you're probably looking at May is going to be the peak for the Midwest and having all of these issues. So be prepared for that. I know they talked about April being the worst part for it, but April's going to be the coasts. It's going to be really bad on the coasts and the big, heavily populated, coast cities. But you're already starting to see Detroit have a lot of issues, in Michigan and all this. So it's pushing in towards the middle, and we're in the middle of Wisconsin. So if you're in the Midwest, it's going to be really bad by May. And it's probably going to roll into June. And hopefully it'll burn out around August. And hopefully when it does rotate and come back again, as the southern hemisphere goes back into, rolls around again, hopefully we have a way of keeping it contained, or at least we have something else. Just remember that this country it's probably on one of those courses where it's a watershed moment, and you're not likely to see this go back to a norm. You're gonna have to start realizing that the country will not be the same country that you remember it as in 2019. So it's Raven Tactical out. Be prepared. Be doing what you can, and also just remember, pray for this country, and stay safe, people. Do what you have to do, and buy a gun.